Hi guys, Romer1 here, and tonight I'm making a video talking about the connection of food and art. So, I'm 25 years old. I graduated from Del Salle College of St. Benilde. I graduated culinary arts, and then I went to US for an international internship program, and then luckily, not really, out of 40 culinary interns, three of us got offered a job. So I worked there for almost 4 years. I started to work as a line cook, worked my way up to being a sous chef. Specifically in the US, I worked every winter season. I worked in Miami, Florida, and then every summer season, I work in New York. So that's a total of now 6 years, 6 years of cooking for a living. Well, I don't work in the kitchen anymore, but right now I'm back here in the Philippines. I started my own business, so I'm still in that cooking industry. It's more fun because I have my own touch. I have my own style now. I have my own recipes. So, yep, that's a quick background of my experience and what am I doing now. So let's talk about why I got into cooking. So cooking, as most people would assume, is just about food. It's just about good food. And this is where I'm gonna start talking about why is it connected with art. I'll start by why did I get into cooking? Cooking for me, as I have experienced through the years of just doing it with repeatedly, cooking involves so many factors. It involves the origin of that food, it involves the style, it involves the temperature, the texture, the taste, how it looks, the influence, the flavors. It has just so many things going around in one plate. So much things going on in one plate. I got into cooking because as a kid, ever since I was a kid, I was really curious of flavor pairings. I don't know why, but as early as I was a kid, I was just interested with it. It amazed me on how I can use things as simple as food, pair it with a great sauce, pair it with a great flavorful you know starch or whatever, like a fried rice or whatever, things like that. Pair different types of meat with vegetables and sauce, and just come up with something great that people would appreciate. Whenever people ask me what's the best thing about cooking for a living, is honestly, like different fields, like different work, cooking has its very own art. It has its, like, for example, the photography people, they have their own culture. The painters, they have their own culture. Engineers, architects, whatever. But being a chef, working in the kitchen, it has its own culture. The best thing actually is to be part of this, this subculture, to be part of this historical continuum, a secret society with its own language and customs. Working in the kitchen, we have our own language, the way we talk to each other, the way we express ourselves. Expression. It's just, there's so many terms that only kitchen people would understand. Normal people, whenever normal people would hear us talk like that, they won't understand. But whenever kitchen people talk to each other, we know it. Yet. That's what I'm talking about. We have that own language, that own culture that only us only us understand. And I think that's part of the art that we're talking about, that expression. Yeah. So to be part of that secret society, with its own language, with its own customs, to enjoy the instant gratification of making something good with one's hand, using all of one's senses. Whenever you see a plate, right? Whenever you see a plate, for normal people, oh, it's food. Well, hopefully it tastes good, or I assume it tastes good. But for us artists, for us chefs, there's more. Art for me is not just your simple canvas with a painting or a drawing. It's for me, it's just very broad. It's this big thing. It's so many things, especially whenever different people look at it with their different perspectives. For me, art is one way of expressing yourself. Like, for example, painters, they express themselves through their art, which they call painting. And for us chefs, the way we express it is by our food. Our food, not just its flavor, but the way it looks, the way the colors contrast on the plate, the way the sauce is poured, how thick is the sauce, how thin is the sauce, how the sauce is supposed to coat the meat. All of those small things. Whenever we serve something, we make sure that it's above standard. We make sure that it just doesn't taste good, but it looks appetizing, it looks good. The colors are contrast, it's like eating with your eyes. So that's the art for me. That's just that amazing feeling right there, that satisfaction. When I say I let my cooking and my food express myself, of course, for example, I serve you something that doesn't look good and doesn't taste good. What would that tell you about me, right? Of course, through that plate, I'm actually kind of like communicating or introducing myself to you. For example, I introduce myself to you as a chef. What do you expect? You expect an amazing meal, right? So, of course, for me, cooking as my craft, I make sure, or I will make sure, that the things I cook and the things I put on a plate and serve to the people I serve, I make sure that everything is done properly, correctly, and everything is 100%. Because as simple as you think about cooking, it's not that simple. Like, that's why I'm telling you it's art for us, because one plate of food has so many factors in it. It has, the origin of that food, what country it came from, the style of cooking it, the flavors in it, the texture of that food. There's just so many factors that's involved, like in the ingredients, what season it is available, what season it is best to cook. For example, tomatoes, right? Tomatoes can be unripe at some months, but tomatoes can be good when it comes to the right season. So there's just so many factors. And one thing that really makes that one thing that really makes this field an art is because in one plate there's just so many factors that's involved. And one thing I love about it is, of all the food I cook, the saying that I am what I eat is actually true, because I'm not saying one, but there will be go-to dishes. There will be go-to dishes that would define who you are, the way you cook it and the way you present it. So, in simple words, our plate is our canvas, and that's the way how we express our passion for what we do. So for me, that's a connection of cooking and art. Thank you.